Yeah, welcome everyone, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Uh, Welcome, Vignesh. If you are online, please join us. Vignesh. Yeah,
Good evening, ma'am.
welcome. Yes, yeah. I think 2 more minutes we will be starting now. We got good response, Vignesh. Maybe you are very famous on Instagram. Your
Thank you, ma'am.
fans. I think more than 150 registration.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Everyone
you,
is
ma'am.
really, I am also looking for to hear from you. And yeah. Hi, Sirinidhi, good evening. Hi, Sendil. Yeah, all our regular followers are here. Hope everyone is doing fine. Though the lockdown is eased out, we have to be very careful still going out. Unless until it's necessary, please don't go out. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for joining another edition of WCI for Wildlife Photography Talk. Today we are going to have Mr. Vignesh Thangaraj, and he is going to talk about biodiversity in wildlife. He is a commercial professional photographer. Of course, he is doing wildlife photography also, and he believes in exploring various fields of photography, not only wildlife. Of course, he does a lot other genre of photography also, like fashion shoot, product shoot, and calendars and all. The main thing is he's a good tracker of big cats, and I think over last 5 years he has sighted more than 87 tigers. Okay, he boosts. And a lot of even Tamil Nadu government projects such as beds of Muthupete mangroves and a calendar shoot for Arinjarana Zoological Park and GNP and all he did. He has good portfolio of photographs also and wildlife also. So today he is going to talk about biodiversity in wildlife photography and going to share some tips also and his experience also. So let us welcome Mr. Vignesh Thangaraj. Please, Vignesh, join us. Thank you for joining today. I think you are busy somewhere in South, some work. And thank you. Your busy schedule also you joined today. Thank you. Please, the webinar is yours. We are waiting to start.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for the participants for joining in. Welcome you all. And thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
Shall we start, ma'am?
Yeah, just a minute. Guys, if you have any questions, please type in a question and answer section. So end of this session, Miss Lakshmi will be taking questions from you, behalf of you guys. She will be asking to Vignesh. So if you want to ask yourself, you can raise your hand so that we will unmute. You can ask directly the questions to Vignesh also. And before giving to webinar to Vignesh, and we are having very interesting upcoming wildlife photography talk in next weeks also. Please do check our event pages and register yourself. And of course, all the students who registered, student for nature clinics workshops, we are getting mails that they are getting when they will be getting Zoom links. Already we sent all the Zoom links. Okay, 3 workshops, the Zoom links will be sent. Still we will be updating one more time. Okay, you will be getting mails. Okay, don't worry, all registration is going on. You will be getting mail. Yeah, please, Vignesh, you can carry on. Yeah.
Okay, wildlife photography. Basically, it's a kind of hobby for people over here, an expensive hobby for people over here. But for me, I really wanted to turn this hobby into my own passion. So I'm basically a commercial photographer who does weddings, events, portfolios, fashion, tabletops, etc., and etc. So the other channel I wanted to explore into wildlife. The moment I got into wildlife, I never stepped back. I really wanted to explore a lot. I started with macro, like everyone starts with macro, small insects, etc., etc., and then went to mammals, not into birds. Then went directly into mammals. spent a lot of years into mammals, searching big cats and elephants and various other mammals. Then after meeting ma'am, got into world of birding, and now I'm right now into birding rather than into mammals. And I've photographed more than 350 plus individual birds from South India alone. I'm yet to explore birds from North India, waiting for some other dates to go to North India for birding trip and all, etc. So this is how I started my career into this, and I wanted to earn through this photography. Where usually we earn through commercial things, but not through wildlife. Wildlife doesn't give us money back. You have to spend. But there are options and opportunities in wildlife, like government projects and private projects, which I undertook is like a calendar shoot for Aringaranna Zoological Park. And before that, I did a calendar shoot for Muthupete Mangroves, which is in Tiruvarur. So these are like government projects which I undertook, and they paid me for what I did. So I have a couple of slides over here, which I can explain you about the biodiversity in wildlife photography. Basically a photographic slide. I wanted to show the slides rather than showing you the PPT in the format of texts, so that you audience can enjoy the view of the photographs which I have captured. So can we go for the slide now?
Yeah, please, can screen share.
Okay. And this is me, Vignesh Thangaraj, explaining you about biodiversity in wildlife photography. So I'll share you a few pictures which are my own favorite, captured in the wild. So if any other doubts or you want any clarification about those pictures, you can just ask me in between. This one is a tiger from Ranthambore. Many people who have visited Ranthambore might know what tiger it is. She is Noor, the queen of Ranthambore, zone 3, I guess. Everyone's dream is to get a tiger in a green background, that too with a soft and creamy bouquet. In a photographer's point of view, I would rate it a good picture because of the green background, as well as the tiger is looking at me and everything is like a poster image. So this one will be my best favorite image of a tiger. And next would be the leopard. This one is Kabini's temple male, and the little one is actually a female leopard called Kate. Temple male and Kate, and that rock is actually the temple which they were actually sitting. So my next favorite of a leopard is this mating pair. This is the first image which won me a recognition in front of few good photographers, or the guy who had a picture of a leopard mating on a temple rock. So after that only I got into Kabini's close contacts, even some big name contacts. And elephants with a family. And next one will be the disciplined doles walking head on towards me. Even when a best shot of a mammal is always a mammal walking in front of us and walking head on towards us. Whatever the mammal it is, we love shooting mammals looking at us into our lens and walking towards us. So this image with a pack of doles, like 11 or 12, they were like 12, but 11 I have captured here. All the doles were walking head on towards me, towards the vehicle. So this one is my other favorite image. And this one was shot in Kabini. And this one, the huge one-horned rhinoceros from Kaziranga. A really massive guy he was. We are lucky to get him head-on in the first ever safari which I did in Kaziranga. I have a small backstory over here. When we entered Kaziranga for this safari, I was using like 100-400 mm, where the nuts and screws got actually loosened because of the safari vehicles jerk and all. When the rhino was actually approaching us, I didn't have anything to tighten my lens camera actually. So what I did is I literally bite my nails, and with my nails I tightened the screw to adjust it, and then I holded the camera and then I shot this image. So this was actually walking for a while, but I got it only 2 or 3 shots. But anyway, I was lucky enough to capture the moment. So make sure your lenses or gears, everything are ready for your trip, as well as if there is some problem, try to solve it as early as possible and make your sense of humor, common sense over that to solve the problem to get your images done. And this one is Lion-tailed macaw from Valpare. This image especially won me an award at 2018 Wildlife Week of Tamil Nadu. This gave me a recognition for in between the photographers as well as the forest departments in Tamil Nadu, like 2018. Many people started asking me whether did you feed the LTM or not. No, they actually climb up the tree, they pluck out the jackfruit and they throw it from the tree so that it opens wide and breaks and then they go and eat them.
Yeah, so their favorite food, Vignesh.
This
On the road itself, we can see the
we can see them
jackfruit trees. Yeah,
eating. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
The real wild only. We can't throw and all. It's not baiting. Yeah.
But generally, if we see our monkeys eating something, everyone used to ask, "Did you feed? Did you feed?"
Yes.
I may feed, but not. I may feed some single jackfruit, but I'm not much enough. What they have to feed a whole big jackfruit to LTM.
No, this is a wild, guys. The trees are
wild.
there, and that favorite food, fruit also. Yeah.
Yeah. And few images of birds, and this is my best ever flight shot of a hornbill. This was shot from Valpare, and I got a couple of good friends who took me over there for this shot. And this image is my best favorite image. This has been featured in many abroad photographic magazines and all. And then next would be a black wing stilt. Actually, a portrait is basically basically meant to be based on its name. You call this as a black wing stilt, but generally a good shot of black wing stilt would always be like one leg tilted up and the bird stands in one leg. Generally, everyone gets a shot, and they say we have taken an action shot where the bird is standing in one leg, but no one shows the original black wing of a bird. This is like when someone doesn't know the name of the bird. When I show this picture, they identify it easily. They may not know the name still, but they will say a bird with a black wing. Okay, so it reduces our identification knowledge to, okay, we can find it easily. So, and this image as well as the next image, this one, a vernal hanging parakeet, they both got featured in BBC social media handle as well as in their pages. So this is my first ever social media handle. I mean, BBC's featuring. So this got me a good reach, and many people started approaching me for prints. And these two images have been even painted by beginner artists as well as etc. etc. So these two are like my most favorite bird images which I have captured. And this one, I guess people from Chennai might have known.
Yeah.
He's the star of Chennai.
Grassland, star of the grassland.
Star of
most photographed raptor in Chennai.
From Tamil Nadu. If you have not photographed this bird, you are sin. Something was like that. But this photo was actually captured before all the crowd gathered here. This was 2 years earlier, before where the people entered, like whoever now the photographers are. Before they entered, we actually captured him a couple of years ago. So this image is basically my favorite thing is because of the background. Everyone wanted to get it in a green background because the grasslands, it is very, very wide spread away. But there is a water area over there. But sometimes this raptor goes and sits next to the water area, and a small perch. So that gave me a multiple background rather than a green background or a sky background. This gave me a water as well as a green background, which gives me a pleasing image, pleasing mood for this bird. Enough about the shot at all, because many would have got more than a good shot than mine. And this one is shot from Bandhavgarh, and he's actually sunbasking. Usually this woolly neck stork perch in a very high tree, and they actually sunbask for a moment, for a while. This particular yoga pose was like very attractive. You can't stop photographing this bird. Actually, we didn't get a tiger that day, but everyone were happy that we photographed this bird in such a pose with a good lighting on that bird, etc. and all. So this one also stands in my favorite image. And then few images of macro. Always photographing macro is like very tough, and as well as photographing them in a flight is like very tedious. So I captured this small insect in a flight. Hardly after 3 or 4 attempts. I couldn't even focus it. And then we fixed a frame and we waited for that to fly from that small twig into that other twig. So that in that moment I captured it, and I cropped the other twigs next to that twig. And this one is a fan-throated lizard. Usually capture a species with how its name is related to. It is a fan-throated lizard. So don't just capture the lizard and just tell this is a fan-throated lizard, it has a yellow tongue, something like that. Better capture a moment like this when the lizard opens up its yellow fan, so that not fan-throated lizard. This is a flying lizard.
Okay.
Sorry, Draco something. So capture the yellow thing so that it prominently shows that this lizard is not the common lizard which we see often. And next would be everyone's favorite shot of a butterfly. I really wanted to photograph a butterfly in flight, but I never tried. During my starting ages, I never photographed butterfly. I directly came into mammals. So when someone asked, don't you shoot butterflies? I really didn't have a picture of butterfly. So I wanted to shoot a picture of a butterfly where I can portray it. So I have a good image of a butterfly. So this one was like my favorite of a butterfly shot. Basically, what do you people think is more important in field of wildlife as well as in field of photography? Basically, what you people think? Anybody? Ma'am, anybody?
Yeah, which question you asked? What question you asked?
I mean, basically, what do you think is more important in the field of photography?
Photography, yeah.
Either
Dare to type, yeah. Guys, you can tell what's important in photography. Patience, yeah. Amit was telling patience.
Okay,
Definitely.
one valid point.
Patience, yeah.
Anyone else?
Focus. Rupali Nath is telling focus.
Anyone? The last chance. Anyone else?
Light. Mugund Ranganatha was telling light.
Okay, I'll go with my capturing the moment.
Subject understanding, Geeta Murugesan. Yes. Feel the
nice
moment. Story.
Nice response. Nice response.
Great. Knowledge of forest. Of course, Ilanchalian, knowledge of forest.
Ilanchalian. Very good, Ilanchalian.
All are okay. All
okay.
things are okay.
Ilanchalian, I would go with you, Ilanchalian. Actually, the main thing in photography is knowledge.
Moment, yeah.
Knowledge on the subject or of the forest or what gears you're using, knowledge about what you're gonna shoot. Basically is knowledge about what you're gonna shoot. That is what the main thing which we learned is. So there are a few examples. I think you people would have gone for safaris. The people who are attending over here would have gone for safaris. Either we are sighting a tiger or not, every naturalist used to show us some pug mark and say tiger cross, pug mark, tiger pug mark. And then suddenly they will say this is a male tiger, this is a female tiger. The moment we bend down and see, we can see a tiger pug mark, but we couldn't recognize what it is, a male or female. But they will tell it for sure this is a male or female, something like that. Any ideas how you guys would have identified? I'll just give you a small anime kind of a video where you can identify it. This is a very basic hint. There are many more hints to identify male and female, but this is the first basic hint what the naturalists used to tell. Wait a minute. These two are pug marks of two genders of tigers. And see, look at this. These two pug marks. Basically, there is the gap between the limbs will be wide, far open than the gap between the limbs of this tiger. So the gap forms a square formation. So that means it's huge. So it is a male tiger. This forms a rectangular formation, a portraitical rectangular formation. That means it's a female tiger. Actually, the first basic point alone is that the gap between the dots are right now. Those dots are actually the differentiation. So this one is actually male and this one is female. This is how people identify it easily through the pug marks. Okay, I'll go with the other one more question. Tiger pug marks, it is quite easy to identify. What about elephants? If you're going into a trekking or a walk somewhere, you see an elephant dung. How do you identify it is a male or female? Any ideas? If anyone knows the answer, you can tell me. Ma'am, can you type that, ma'am?
Yeah, I think they can hear you.
Can you hear me? Anybody?
How you guys can identify elephants, a male or female? Anyone in our participants? Like size. Yasa Kumari's size.
No, how about the dung size? If it's
dung size. Dung, okay. Dung, how you will size? Height? No.
You're not seeing the elephant. You're just seeing the.
You're not seeing the elephant. You are seeing the dung size. Yeah. I think you can explain, Thangaraj. Vicky, Vignesh, you can tell.
Yeah. Okay.
No, if it's seeing is fine. We are citing only
the dung.
Dungs only, not an elephant. Okay, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I'll show you a small anime again. So better you people can understand it easily. This is how the male elephants go. A male elephant usually poops and pees in a same place. Both the yellow and green, they poop and pee in the same place. Whereas the female elephant poops and pees in at least 1.5 meter distance.
Oh,
So when you see a dung which is wet and very clumsy, that is a male elephant. And when you see a dung and urinated at least a meter, 1.5 meter far away from the dung, that means it's a female. So it's your call, because if it's a male elephant, it's going to be a solitary elephant. It is going to be out of its family, and it's going to be only one elephant in that whole area if you're going for a tracking. If it's a female elephant, then for sure there are going to be plenty of elephants in and around you. So you have to be very safe and precautious when you walk ahead. So this is
when
what
we see real elephants, Asiatic elephants, the tusker will be, you have the tusker, but female elephant, we don't have a tusk. No, so that's easily to see. But without seeing the tracking, these are the information will be helpful.
So these are like tracking informations for elephants. So not only in elephants, not only in tigers. Learn as much as possible in whatever animals or mammals you see. Even for snakes, there are plenty of tracking things. So increase your knowledge, learn a lot, share from people, gain experience from people. So that's what the main thing in photography, especially in wildlife photography.
You have to talk to a naturalist to find out. No, when he is telling, you have to ask why you are telling like this. So that is the way we learn. Naturalists are the best guide for the tracking animals. Yes.
Yeah. Rather than talking him, when did you sight a tiger last time? Just ask him, how did you sight the tiger last time?
Yes.
How did you track it? Where was it drinking water? Where it is going next? So ask them like that. So before you photograph, just ask them 4 W questions: when, where, why, and the 3 W questions. So when did you shoot it? So choose your subject and then ask your people. You yourself decide what are you going to shoot? Okay, I'm going to shoot an elephant. Then what is the good time to shoot elephant? There is a season where elephant comes to the riverbeds and drinks some water and grazes. They're not grazing animal. They actually tend to eat the water droplets in the grass. That's what actually elephant do. They don't actually eat the grass. They actually eat the water droplets. So you want to take that photograph and then choose that time, and then time, not the season, the time, early morning or late evening. When does the elephant come back? So before you shoot, have a small study, like learn about its habitat, everything, and then go to that place. And you need not wait at all. The things happen on your flow. So that's what wildlife knowledge is about. Okay, then I'll go with the photography thing. Photography, what I follow and what I teach my own people who come with me for my touring photo tours or photo workshops. First basic thing, the first day which I tell them is follow your case. Case is more important in photography. Everyone would have known that. I'll just explain you what my case is. Composition. You would have known it. Shutter speed. Exposure compensation. So once when you are done with all these things, I'm not going to explain about what is composition, what is aperture, what is shutter speed. I know you people would have known. This is not the basic photography thing which you are learning about.
So when your PPT.
So when you are ready with that, just go to a place where you can photograph and learn photograph and practice yourself a photograph. So that doesn't mean you have to go to safaris or you have to go to photo walks. The nearest place or nearest natural parks which is that, you can go there and try your own photography techniques. Just have a look at these photos and I'll tell you where I have shot these images. Any idea where I have shot this? I think many would have seen these images in my Insta handle, if you people are really following me. Anybody?
You have to wait. Guys, can you guess from where you took this photograph? Anyway, you can go ahead and tell them.
Okay. Actually, these images were shot in Vandaloo, zoo, actually, from Vandaloo Zoo. Go wait there for a moment and wait for your right moment and try to shoot images which they look like they live in a real natural habitat. No, I'm not. Giraffe is actually from Vandaloo Zoo. We had a sky, very beautiful sky after a late evening, not late evening, before the evening. So I rushed to this giraffe place and I waited near the grills over there, and then I wait for this giraffe to come next to me, and I shot this image. So this is one of my favorite image from a zoo. Many people ask me, is this from abroad or not? No, this is actually from one. All these images are from under the zoo, behind the grill, not inside the grill. All these images are shot behind the grill only. So just go close to the grill and then zoom it, or your focus automatically cuts off the grill, so that all your focus will be on the subject which you really wanted to shoot. Don't simply shoot the animal. Just wait for that animal to give some movement, like the tiger yawning, or the leopard licking, or the water droplet from the wolf, or some habitat shot of a giraffe, or the lion's half portrait, which is like a poster shot. So wait for your moment and then freeze it. The zoos are the best place to photograph animals before you get into wildlife or safaris or something like that.
To practice, the best place to practice.
Best place to practice. Even today, we have personally, ma'am and myself, we have personally conducted many tours and many workshops in zoos.
Yeah.
There are many people are still in contact, and now they have improvised a lot. They have learned from zoos, and now they are posting many good photos. Few people have even won awards in social medias. I'm really happy. I played a part in their improvement.
Yes, yeah, we did more than 200
people.
We did workshop. And Vignesh was assisting me, and it's a great help. Now everybody is getting a lot of photography into lot of photography.
Yes, nowadays many people are actually taking good pictures from zoo. And few wildscapes. Nowadays the trend is actually shooting the habitat of animal and or bird.
Wildlife photography with
wildscapes.
Lens.
So this is a hornbill flight from a valley, in between a valley, shot in Anamalai Tiger Reserve. And this one was from Sundarbans. Hope you can see the tiger exactly in the right side, in the middle of the image. There is a tiger actually trying to cross the river. So I wanted to show both the land as well as the water area. So this is how the Sundarbans will be. It is really difficult and very, very tough to sight a tiger in Sundarbans, and very challenging to photograph a tiger properly in Sundarbans, because you don't have a flat base to shoot. You will be in a boat, and boat will be wobbling. So you can't stand still and focus on the subject until it gives you some time. So this is really a tough image to capture. At that time, it was actually raining. After the rain, the tiger tried to cross the river. And this one is from Tadoba. Many would have known this is a shot from Tadoba. This image actually suits. There is a quote or saying called road doesn't cross, forest doesn't, the animal doesn't cross the road actually crosses its own territory. And this is kind of a image which matches that quote. So I love this image where the yellow tints are over the left side and the green tints over the right side, and the road black adds some value to the image. And those leading lines, it leads your eye attraction towards the subject which is in between. And this one is from Kaziranga, behind the bombax trees. And this one is like the female with a small little calf. They call a calf. Small rhinos are called calf. This is one of my favorite shot of one-horned rhino, because these bombax trees are all full in Kaziranga. So whatever you want to capture in front of that bombax tree, it will be really beautiful. I wanted to capture an elephant because of the elephant grass, but I couldn't get an elephant. So I love this pose of a mother and a calf rhino posing in front of the tree. Framing it with the tree adds some value, and those, including of those colors, actually add some value to the frame. And then previous what you say is that like wild habitat, and now you go way more wide to show the minimalism concept. Many people started loving this minimalism concept. So like something like this, where the subject is very small in your frame, very, very small in your frame, with the declined line, and you can see a langur sitting in his own monk pose. And this one, tiger from Sundarbans. And this is one of my most favorite image of a tiger. And this is especially close to my heart because this is my 50th tiger sighting, 50th tiger sighting. This tiger, we searched him for more than 8 to 9 hours. And this sighting happened hardly for 30 seconds. I could manage only 4 to 5 photos. Hardly 4 to 5 photos. The color behind here is like raw itself is this color, because I know the color is white, and if we are in the background, I'm going to get only the silhouette image. So I wanted to show it something different. So I just popped out my white balance to how much extreme it is to the yellow tint. I didn't know even it's 10,000 or 12,000 or whatever it is. I just scrolled it to the white balance to the extreme end to give that yellow tint. And then I wanted to get the tiger popped up in a evening light feel. This is not the golden light, golden hour and all. It was actually very white, but I changed it in the camera itself. Use your camera techniques to get some images like this. Okay. And this one, a shot of an owl. This shot is from an early morning shot before the sunrise. Before the sunrise, the owl was ready. And this was shot like 5:30 in the morning from my native. So before sunrise gives you this pink tint. And you can also go for a vertical minimalism or a wildlife habitat shot. The sun was not going to set very low. And I know this sloth bear is going to cross before the sun sets. So I don't have any other choice. So I just change my lens from 500 mm to my wide angle lens. And then I shot this image of a sun as well as the sloth bear. Even vertical frames add value to your portraits. Life at night. One of my most favorite moment to photograph is actually nighttime. Nighttime gives you a lot of surprises. You can sight many rare animals which you can't sight in the daytime, and photographing them at night is actually very difficult. But sighting gives you a more good feel than photographing it. It is really difficult to photograph this species, especially. We sighted him like 10 or 12 individuals in that whole night. But for photographing this single individual, it was really difficult for us. We started our safari like 8 o'clock, and this particular photograph was captured around like 11:30 something.
And all with its glory, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Mullampandri,
porcupine. So it was like very difficult to photograph him in that that night. So this is one of my favorite. This was shot from Chennai, outskirts of Chennai. So next to your home, something like that. It's somewhere. It's in Chennai. And this one, slender loris. Everyone's small, tiny favorite mammal to photograph. It's easy to photograph in Tatakat, but it's very difficult to get him in an open perch because he was actually standing in an open perch. And the moment we took this photograph, he rushed into some bushes where we couldn't identify him again. And this is the best, rarest capture, rarest sighting I have ever had. It's really rare than a black panther, pangolin. Sighting a pangolin in wild is like once in a lifetime. Hardly many people would have not seen it second time or third time. It's not a regular sighting object.
Yes.
It is very rare to sight in a wild. After a rainy day, after sighting a leopard in night, we rushed to our home. During that time, this fellow crossed the road. We thought it's something else like a snake or something. We didn't know what it was. So it went and hid inside this bushes, this tree leaves. After torching our light, we couldn't even identify where this species is actually. After 2 minutes of something, this made a movement. Only then we realized that these are not leaves and there is a pangolin over there. And then we waited and had a normal record shot of this animal, and he flew away. He left away, flew away like anything. He ran away like anything. So this is one of my most rarest capture in wild. And this one is from my native, capturing using your photo camera techniques to capture different images in night. I think many would have seen these images in poster because this is many people's favorite image. Open up your exposure, and I used light flash to freeze the bird. Either way, the bird was not moving at all, but anyway, to capture the sharpness, something like that. So I used a flash, not flash, the torch light. I used a torch to freeze the light over here. And opening up your exposure shows you the stars behind the rocks. It was actually a hilly area, so that's where the stars are actually visible. In case if it's a ground level, for sure your stars are not going to be visible. So since I didn't know the technique of flash at that time, so I just used the light to freeze make a still of this foreground. You get the red eye. Usually when you flash it or when you use your light, you should go inclined so that the eyes are not popping up in the red eye thing. This can be actually made up with the Photoshop, but I didn't want to make it up. So I just wanted to be in the raw. Okay, fine. I will explain to the people how I shot it and what all I used it. So that is an image of an owl in the stars. And this one is from around same area where I have kept a small camera trap over the mountain to get some images. So when I went back to collect the camera trap, luckily this fellow was roaming next to the camera trap. When I checked the images, I didn't get even a single image of this fellow in the trap. So I decided, okay, let's click now. So I wanted to show the town next behind the rock and as well as the sky. And this star tortoise walking in its terrain. And this one is from Chennai. They usually go and hide near the shrubs. This is not the nest. Okay, we saw this bird roaming here and there. When we approached him, this fellow randomly rushed to this is like salt pit bushes near the backwaters. He went and hid next to that. He was damn camouflaged that we couldn't even identify after torching our light. After a couple of seconds, when he blinked his eyes, after that only we could recognize, okay, the bird is lying low level to the shrubs. So we set up a wide angle to shoot the background of the city lights as well as few dots of stars, and we use the light to freeze the subject. And few best creative shots.
My favorite shot, Vignesh. I think you got awards also for this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Please explain the techniques for our viewers.
This is actually many people would have asked, what this is a common image, common subject, how did you make it different? Making it different won me awards, and this image gave me recognition worldwide. This image has been published in National Geography as well as exhibited in plenty of exhibitions in Canada, in US, in Singapore and Malaysia. And to be frank, I didn't even spend the money for this image, but I earned money from this image. That's the real truth. When people ask me, do you earn? I did earn from this image, and that's what I used to say. This image is a common dragonfly resting near a grass in a rainy evening. Actually, it was an evening. So after a front flash lit image, I thought an idea of using it with the inclined flash. So I kept the flash extremely to the right side, in right 45-degree inclined of that dragonfly, and shot this image where the raindrops all turned into a bouquet with a backlight, as well as the dragonfly got lit up. So this gave me a magical image. So I used to call this as a mystical dragonfly. So this is many people's favorite image, and many well-known photographers took this photo from me, and they tried their own image and posted as from an inspiration from Vignesh. Was a lifetime achievement for me at that time, before a couple of years. So I felt happy because some people are following my style of photography. So this is such a kind of image which I captured. And this one, use your techniques of camera. This one is called rear curtain, capturing the moment of the star tortoise crossing it. It is like all the caterpillars with plenty of legs, but this is how the star tortoise moves very slow. This is a technique called rear curtain, slow shutter, and a rear curtain technique, which is not a Photoshop processing. It's in your all cameras. So learn your cameras.
Use flash. If they're using flash on Vignesh, you use flash.
I used flash, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the rear curtain technique. Okay, yeah.
Rear curtain flash. Same, the rear curtain technique flash with the light to show the movement of that tortoise, which is like a trail, a star tortoise trail, a star tortoise trail. That's how this image is captured. And this image is one more favorite image. And this image was shot during a Nat Geo's mini project. The people from Nat Geo, when I showed the dragonfly image, the mentor over here, he wanted such an image in this concept. So he gave me 2 days time, go wherever you want, take an image like that, but not the same dragonfly or not the same rainbow bouquet. Try something else different, but I wanted some similar image. That was the concept given to me. Okay. So I went, and when I saw a wedding hall where this light was actually lit up in a pavement, so I waited there for more than 3 to 4 hours. For whatever it is crossing in front, let's shoot. I actually anticipated for an ant or lizard, something like that. So whatever it comes, let's shoot. Whatever comes, let's shoot. Anyway,
single shot or double exposure?
Single shot, ma'am.
Super.
Single shot. F would be like 16. So the focus was here. So whatever crosses in front, I'll use my light in front and I capture. I mean, light it with my torchlight from the front and capture. Okay. But I have an image of lizard crossing it, few ants crossing it, a couple of insects crossing it, everything, and a butterfly sitting in front, everything. But only this snail, suddenly an idea pop up where the snail can be backlit, where the other animals couldn't be backlit. where the
Okay.
lizard or ant couldn't be backlit. When I kept the mobile light behind the snail, I could see the rim light of the snail's shell.
Wow.
So this was like a light.
So you use two lights. One is for behind and one is for front.
No, ma'am, only one light. Only one mobile light behind alone I kept it. So I kept the light behind that snail and I captured it. With one hand I used my light and with one hand I used the camera and I captured it. So this is how the image was made, and those people from Nachi were like very happy and they were damn impressed, and that gave me a good reputation to the people who worked there, and it gave me an opportunity to do further projects for them, and that's once in a lifetime achievement to work for them for a mini project for a week is like great.
Okay, great.
And this one is a basic pan shot of a tiger from Tadoba. Actually, the tiger didn't run a lot, so it gave me plenty of time to pan it. So I set my camera very steadily in the vehicle, and I tried plenty of F11 and plenty of panning distance, everything. So it has to be done in opposite direction to show the pan is moving backwards. And if you do it in the way the tiger moves, it will be like the pan will be in front. So you have to move it in the opposite direction for the pan to happen it in the reverse way. So this image was made like that.
Super.
So panning is an easy technique which everyone should follow for a creative photo shot. Nowadays it's common. And this one for a snake, same for the rear curtain image, where the snake moves like something like a art formation. The movement of the snake actually captured with the same rear curtain formation with the rear curtain seeing flash. And then dawn and dusk. This image of an owl with the moon in the background was one of my favorite images from my native. I wanted to shoot owl with something in the background. I had an image of a star as well as everything. But this day, I used to note when the moon rises at the background of the owl. So when I go to that place, once when the moon is there, owl will not be there. Once when the owl is there, moon will not rise. If both are rising, cloud will hide. So this one day, it was like a full moon day with some big moon day, something blue moon day, something like that. That day, so the moon actually rised very close to the background.
It's lovely, lovely. This one is very lovely.
So awesome. That's why you could see the details of the moon. Else it will be only the orange tint. Because of that day, I could even show the details of that moon. And this one is from Bharatpur, a basic sunlit shot of a bird, a silhouette. I love this shot because it was like an art form with including the branches as well as into that sun frame. So I love this shot. This shot was shot from Marathika Ramaswamy's masterclass during 2018, ma'am.
Painted stroke, the sunsetting favorite.
Sunset zone. So I guided all the people to this spot, and I helped all the people to shoot an image like this. So everyone were happy after getting this shot. So this is one memorable shot for me where everyone got it.
It's a must for Bharatpur photography people.
Yes,
when you go winter, it's must shots.
Must shot.
Signature shots, Bharatpur signature shots.
Bharatpur signature shots, yes, ma'am. And few images of tones. Play with your tones. When you see some golden sky, or when you see some blue sky, or when you see something attractive or contrasting, go for a silhouette image, or either shoot the moment. This image of a owl with the golden sky with all the distraction in between added some dreamy image to the frame, dreamy frame. And this one was shot in a paddy field with all the paddy grasses with the pop-up green color. And this one late evening after a rain where the sky was fully in a blue time. So all these images, all my white balance was normal. I didn't change the white balance here. The sky itself was in that color and the paddy field itself was in green color, and now the sky itself was in blue color. None of the images I changed it. I changed the white balance. But you people, if you really wanted to shoot that background like that, of course you can change your white balance and then shoot it like that. And see this image, I didn't want to change the white balance. It was actually very white lit from the background. I waited for this one woodpecker was actually whooping and the other one was very low. So I waited for him to come up. Thank God the first left woodpecker didn't leave that place. So this woodpecker came next to the female woodpecker, and I got this.
It really works very well for black and white photography.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very artistic.
Yes, the artistic thing is only because of that leaves, the inclusion of that leaves. Either if it's a very normal twig or a branch, it's not going to be that much attractive. So composition is all about inclusion and exclusion of the subjects in your frame. You decide what including what adds value and excluding what adds more value. That's how it's from. This is a close-up shot of a tiger in the monochrome, and here the light was actually very harsh and lighting in its face. So it is like the eyes alone is like popped up. So this is a typical monochrome image of a mammal, which everyone really loves to shoot. And this one, when the light is really harsh on your waterbed, when you're shooting birds, go for a shot like this, where you can expose only the shadows of the bird. So here the wings are like spread up. That adds more value to the frame. All your attention goes directly into that bird, so that this image adds some value to your frame, like that. And next I come to my strong part, which is like art form. And nowadays everyone wants to edit it in an art form. Everyone wants to present it in an artistic way, or processing it in a different manner, everything. Everything is a trial and error method. I don't mean that this is right way and this is the wrong way, and all that. I don't know whether mine is right or wrong.
It's subjective.
But I'll show you. But for me, this happened to be right. This happened to be very right, rather than in India, in abroad, where when you people ask me, what are you doing for your bread and butter? I do this for my bread and butter. And this is what I do for abroad foreign clients, and I earn my money. Even today, I do this. I process in a way which I love, and I present them, and I get paid for what I'm doing. And this is one way of earning through photography, processing it. What wedding photographers does, they go for editor or they go for a processor. He earns. Same way, wildlife photographic processor. I'm a wildlife photographic processor as well as artist. Artistic image doesn't mean adding a smoke or changing into a black and white or a golden. That doesn't alone mean an artistic way. Showing something different or showing the bird or mammal or something in a majestic way, which the client loves or which you love, is also an artistic way. So it doesn't have a box. You can expand, explore wherever you want, but don't cross your limits, because when you do more artistic thing, the natural thing is actually going to be destroyed. Here, my artistic images, I never touch the subject, where I don't remove or don't add anything to the subject. I just play with the background. I add the effects to the background, not to the subject. This is the normal image of, this is the final image of this elephant of the artistic image. And this one from Ranthambore with a golden light. I just removed few twigs and added few light to the image. And this one is from Bharatpur, Egyptian vulture. So actually the sky was very foggy. So I added few gradients and few black gradients to the image to show it like some cloudy feel. And this one, my best image from Bharatpur, the Saurus cranes fighting image. So I added few smoky feel to get the fight embedded. And the golden light was actually that. So this is one of my most favorite image from Bharatpur. And this earned me a good name from ma'am as well as from many people in Bharatpur. And the next day when I came, they started identifying me like the guy who shot the Saurus crane fight shot. This guy has that shot. This guy has the shot. So they identified me with this shot. So I love this.
Identification. It gave you identification.
Of course, yes, ma'am. It gave me really a new identification in the field of birds, actually, because of ma'am only, actually. And then few behavior shots. This one, actually, when you show, this is what happens in wild. You can't always expect a clear foreground and a clear background to shoot in wild, because you're not in a zoo or not even zoo, you're not in a staged show. This is how the forest looks, with the twigs in front and with the trees in the back. These tigers go behind the twigs and then only they fight. That's how lucky we are. There are few people who get the tigers fight in front of the vehicle, in front of the tracks, but I was not that lucky to get such shots. And this fellow went behind the twigs and they started a mock fight. But make sure you don't even miss that shot. Play well with your focus points. I used my single focus point and kept my focus exactly tack sharp in the tiger, so that my foreground was not distracting me. And this image feels like it is actually fighting behind a twig. So this is what exactly happening. capturing the moment and capturing the behavior of a tiger in field wild is more important. And this one, playing with your shutter, the Asian paradise fly catcher splashing out from the dip. Asian paradise fly catcher usually have a habit of dipping into the water every morning and every evening. Hardly they do 4 to 5 times every morning and 4 to 5 times in every evening. So they give you 10 opportunities to shoot a proper shot of this bird. So this is what field knowledge is. Go search for this place, wait in a position where the light is good, track the bird where it exactly dips, and they go exactly in the same perch where they were sitting previously. So with all this information, with a good gear or with a good stand or tripod something, achieve this shot and play with your shutter speed. Make sure your shutter is very high and play with your light to get it focused, because the bird is very small to focus and they fly like anything. So this is one of my favorite images which got featured in Pastels and those magazines. And this one, capture the moment, the behaviors, freeze it before the food is in air as well as the tongue is seen. So normal image of a bird with the feed is way more, this image is way more attractive than that one because of the food is in freeze as well as the tongue, everything. It gives you, it gives a audience couple of moments to look at that image. What is it? Is that a tongue or a snake or a snail or a food or they're feeding or etc. etc. What is that? It attracts your attention, viewers' attraction to the image. That is what is actually meant. And this one, this is a very common and a strange behavior of a tiger trying to mark its own territory. These fellows have a strange habit of climbing the trees and then marking. When I didn't know why they are doing such things, but then later I came to know that once when tiger enters into other tiger's territory, when they see such marking, they used to check their own height. They used to climb the tree and check their own height. If the tiger is if the marking is very high, the other tiger used to think that the other tiger is very height and we couldn't defeat it. So this is not our place to go. So they move out of that place. So that's why both the tigers raise their hands and they pose it like this. So this tiger climbs the tree and marks it. So it fools the other tiger that this tiger in this territory is very higher in height than the tiger which is coming next. This tiger is hardly 1.5 years or 2 years age. But if there is a male tiger approaching, for sure he would be higher than this tiger. But because of this habit, that tiger might get fooled. But before that, they even smell with that other territory marking, the tigers smell how old it is, or if there's a female tiger or male tiger. But this is one way of fooling the tiger. So this is a special moment of a tiger marking its territory. They used to scratch the bark with their nails. And this one, the tiger swimming in a water hole with a small reflection in the water, made me some cartoonistic image of a tiger. Framing, when you're sighting a tiger a lot of time and you have plenty of images to photograph, try exploring different images. So this is one such kind of image where I try to get a close-up shot of a tiger with the mouth like a jaw thing. And this is now which I'm trying is a double exposure shot, which is shot in the camera itself with a multiple exposure image. This tiger is Matkasur from Tadoba, and same way the other shot was shot from Agasari in the buffer zone, where the people casually go for their own work in those areas. So I just wanted to mix both the shots with the multiple exposure technique. This is just a trial. So if you people really wanted to go try yourself, go for multiple exposure, set that setting on, and then you can choose your image, which image you want to multiple expose it with the next image, and then shoot it. So I wanted to show the tiger lives in their heart, they live in the heart of the tiger's area, something like that. So this was just a try. I wanted to show you people these things are possible with your cameras itself. They are not processed. They are processed from the camera itself. And this
is
image
for fun, guys. This is for fun, not a real thing. Don't go into all these double exposure thing. It's for fun only. Yeah, fun you can try. Yeah,
you can try, of course you can try. And this image, the outside image of a cormorant was shot somewhere else, and this flowers were shot somewhere else. So such image gives you, this is a high key image, so such image gives you a different feel of a bird. Okay, something different into that. And this one I try to add the building in between the pelican, because the building was actually in the background. I couldn't add it, so I thought, okay, let's add the building into that pelican, something like that. This is all I like fun parts, and unless until you make a good story on this, these are like fun parts. And there are images which won award for double exposure, and that's your own creativity level, and which you can try. These are like which have I tried, basically, which have I tried. And okay, that's it. Thank you guys for listening to me.
It's a great informative session, Vignesh. And I think we can go for question and answer session. Please please take questions from audience and YouTube also. So you can stop your screen share, Vignesh.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Vignesh. Very nice interactive session, Vignesh. I've learned a lot in this session. Yeah. So what's your favorite place in Tamil Nadu for a very good shooting experience?
Very good shooting experience. Mine would be Valparai, ma'am.
Okay. Is it hornbills that attracts you, or the
place? No, the place itself attracts me. I have been Valparai plenty of times where I have not even shot even a single image with my own good camera. I've not even shot anything. Later, when I went again after a certain age, all my good images were shot in Valparai at that time, and now I got better images from Valparai. That is kind of close to my heart, and my wife loves that place. So Valparai is my best destination to shoot.
Great. And what's the editing software you use?
I use Photoshop, ma'am. Only Photoshop. Photoshop is like vast thing. You can do anything with Photoshop. You can do magic with Photoshop. You can do anything with Photoshop. You can create an image with Photoshop. You need not have an image of tiger or anything. You can even create an image with Photoshop.
That we know, Vignesh. Photoshop is.
No, ma'am.
Create images and all.
No,
but for the post-processing, we are talking about post-processing what you are using. Photoshop is for creating images and made-up images.
No, ma'am. Actually, what people say is Photoshop is for everything, for posters, everything. But Lightroom is meant only for photographic software. But I agree with that. But more than that, you can do magic in Photoshop. That's what I meant to do.
Okay, yeah.
And you have another interesting question. What's your turning point in beginning taking wildlife as a photography career? Photos or trip or something?
Photos.
Okay.
Obviously photos. I captured a python swallowing a peacock. We have a saying that if peacock chases away the snake in our native everything, but I never knew that python eats snake. That is the first time I have seen a python eating a snake. So I wanted to capture it. I didn't have a good big lens or something. So I just sat next to the python and I was capturing. Suddenly, I don't know what the python thought. It just dropped the peacock and it turned towards me and charged at me. I felt in the ground. That moment changed me. Okay, there is something else in this field. Start exploring. When you shoot something, go very safe, learn about that, and then go shoot. How you shoot with your lenses, everything, etc., etc. And that is what the big changing point, and for me to enter into the wildlife.
Okay, how do you determine the age of a tiger? You have any idea? It's not a photography related question, but since you do a lot of tigers.
We actually personally, after I start into my trip, I make a note of what tigers which I see. So I collect information from them. It is a male or female, which territory it lives. So I write it down. So first thing is it's like tiger, T number, as well as age, as well as the territory. If it's a Rajbera females rules the Rajbera area with the zone 3, 4, something like that. And I mark it in my own diary. So when I see it in the next 2 or 3 years, I add it. And now when that tiger is actually going out and the new tiger is invading, I ask them, what is the tiger? What happened? They say, tiger aged around 5 years, invaded the Rajbera territory. And that's why I make my own note. By seeing the tiger, we haven't
actually, I think by DNA, we can get, doctors can tell how old the tiger is and all. Scientifically,
you can do that, but by seeing it, because sorry to interrupt. That is an important, interesting fact. I have seen a tiger which is like maybe a 3 to 4 feet, 3 feet height, which was aged only 1 in Bandhavgarh. and same way, not even have that height, which the tigers are aged actually 3 to 4 years in Kabini. So the size difference in India itself differs. In Bandhavgarh, the tigers are actually huge, cubs are actually huge compared to the tiger which is in Kabini. So normally the size alone doesn't describe the tiger's age or something.
Yeah, someone is raising the hand.
Yes. It's been the hand is raised from the time it is from the time we started the show.
Okay.
Sheikh Banu, do you want me to unmute yourself? You want to talk?
Yeah,
Or
I think you can unmute.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Banu, yeah.
I think,
please say the Banu, you can ask your questions.
Yes, good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening,
It's really very interesting to see so much of information given by Mr. Vignesh. And I was really very much interested in listening to the various instances he was narrating while he went for photography.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Means a lot.
It's really very interesting. And I think you need to give us more information in the coming webinars.
Definitely.
And how exactly you go about taking care of your own safety during the night shoots or with very wild animals, especially the tigers and the reptiles.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. That's a good topic to discuss. But that's a very vast topic to discuss.
Yes.
But you can
Life
just
at night
apply.
is alone is a very vast topic to.
It's a very vast. It's a very vast.
But that's a really interesting topic to discuss, ma'am.
Yes.
Sure.
We will cover.
Sure,
But now you want to tell Vignesh, you want to how you we get taken care of for tiger safari and all.
Tiger safari, basically there are two types of tiger safaris. One, getting into wildlife national parks. Other one, searching yourself into some tiger reserves, where that's very vast area, and sighting a tiger is very rare. But I have sighted 2 tigers in outside of national parks, and sighting a tiger in a safari is like easy, like you get into a national park for a safari and you can sight it. But sighting life at night time, especially for elephants, you have to be very careful. First main thing is he's the lord of jungle and not you. You're nothing in front of that. If there is a situation where it's crossing or something threatened, don't ever continue your trip. Go back to your room.
Then I would like to add one thing, Banu. Actually, in national park, night safari is not allowed usually. Usually, we will go for the buffer area with a guide who has he must be knowing the places with the torchlight. No buffer area, small trail only they allow. Otherwise, night national park they won't allow for night safari.
Okay.
But few places you can go with the vehicle, like tiger, predator. We are not supposed to get down. There are few rules are there. So definitely, end of the day, it's a wild animal and predators. We can't take risk. Okay, we are not supposed to get down. We have to keep a safe distance. That is the only way to save from them. Of course, elephants are very dangerous. So we also keep a distance from elephants also. With baby elephants, we have to be very careful. They may charge you, and not only mocks are real charge also. So we have to keep a safe distance. The first rule in wildlife photography, don't enter the comfort zone. So we are entering there where to photograph them. They are not inviting us. We are entering for our own purpose, own pleasure, own for scientific reason. We want to document them. So don't enter the comfort zone. Always keep a distance. That is the first rule. So we have to take care of all the things. Night safari and the two we have to carry torchlight and reptiles will be there. It's a risky only, but with proper guide, the knowledgeable guide, he knows where to go, when to go. Even we had been to in Tatakad night safari, the buffer area, like Vignesh and all, we went for night jar. They are very active in night time only. So he knows the place, and we usually go there and take photograph. Unless until without knowledge, without guide, it's not supposed to enter any national park, any buffer area. So these are the things we have to take care of. Yeah, hope we replied to your questions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you for showing interest right from the beginning.
Next, Rachmi.
Yes, can you explain the reverse panning technique that you are showing for tiger?
Reverse panning technique.
Yes. Probably
That-
if you can move your hands or something, maybe that would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have this here. You the panning technique is basically because of the slow shutter which you use. Okay. So set your F, and then you're slowing down, and the pan happens when the movement happens. So if your camera is still and your F is, I mean, the shutter is slow, the tiger basically moves, and the tiger will be panned, but the background will be standstill. That's what happened in my that star turtle effect. But same way, this is actually a vice versa, where you have to pan with the tiger to get the panning effect. But if you pan with the tiger, you are actually moving it this way. So when the background happens, background also moves this way only. So when the tiger moves, the background also moves in same direction, where it doesn't look like a tiger is running. So when you move it in the opposite direction, this background rushes towards the backside, so that it forms a trail-like thing in the tail of the tiger or the head of the tiger, or whatever the subject it is. It forms a trail like something like that, so that it pans it in the reverse way. That's what the panning has to be happen. Even my starting time, I used to click and pan in the same direction of the subject, but I have to click and pan it in the opposite running direction of the subject, and that's what gives you the back trail. Like that is what called a reverse panning, but that is the real panning actually.
Super.
Very good tip, Vignesh. And how did you click? I don't know which picture we are referring to here. If you can type out, that's great. How did you click the silhouette of a bird with open wings at the beach, where the frame is just a small horizontal strip? Did you put something in front of
that was actually that is actually not a sea or something. That is on a small water bed which was crossing. Very small water bed which was crossing. There was a lake in the left side and the lake in the right side, and there was a small water bed where we can crawl very close to the water bed. So the birds were actually sitting in that water bed, a small water bed. So the background was trees areas and the small water bed and the muddy area where we crawled. So that is not a sea.
Okay. And what is zoo photos allowed for contests?
No, actually not.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of contests which accept only zoo photos. There are many contests which accepts only multiple exposures. There are themes over right there. No, so for beginners, there are contests which accepts zoo photographs.
Yeah.
Even National Geography has featured many zoo photographs in their magazine as well as in their social media page.
Okay. See, I have been to Vandalur Zoo so many times, and I've never thought about taking a photograph of the animals in the zoo. Once we are out of it, I would love to try those.
That is a practice. You can practice, Lakshmi. To practice, a good place. Vandalur Zoo is, we have a lot of pelicans and painted stork. It's a good place to practice.
As well as you can learn the behavior and habitats. You can sit next to a tiger for 3 hours. I can watch it. What all they do? When do they yawn? After yawning, what do they do?
But still, see, zoo animals and I won't suggest. They're bored and looking like captive and all. You can't compare wild tiger.
No, ma'am. For learning.
Learning for like skin tone and taking exposure and all that you can try. Otherwise, I won't suggest seeing wild zoo animals will help you to shoot in wild. Wild tiger is different.
It actually differs. Actually,
okay?
the thing ma'am talking is actually really good, because you wait for 3 hours for a white tiger and shoot it, and you get into wild. It gives you only 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
It comes, it crosses. Before you set your setting and your focus, it will be on the other side. Only the tail will be in the frame. Gone. Yeah. So that's really difficult. But you have to make sure and be ready to frame it very good and capture the crossing in the 3 seconds.
True. And another question on commercial photography. One is, how do you sell photos we shoot and grab clients in wildlife photography?
Social media. Post your images in social media. That's how I earned, and people approach me. If someone likes your photos,
I would like to tell answer questions, Lakshmi.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Selling photos, don't think in other genre photography, wildlife photography, you're taking photo, you're going to put in Instagram, they're going to buy. It won't be like this, okay? Unless until it's very unique photo, you can't sell. Only even the top photographers also will be selling. Our income is coming from 10% only selling photos.
Yes,
So forget about taking photo, putting Instagram, sending and all.
But actually, what happened is my
if you are
photos
having
which are
unique
sold,
picture, you will sell.
it goes.
They will
My
come
art
and
form of
contact you.
my art form of images are being sold because that's my art form of images. Other images are not being sold. So that 10% is that
I
being
have one
unique.
interesting questions. I think Lakshmi can ask.
Yes, ma'am.
How much this photo art in wildlife photography? You remember Lakshmi was asking the questions to me today.
Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. See, what is your thought about using using post processing to process the photographs in when it comes to wildlife? Because that is one of the questions which has been asked in the previous sessions multiple times. What is your thought? Whether you want to be a purist when you are shooting wildlife or including birds in wild atmosphere, what is your thought? I mean, should we use post processing or should we not use post processing? What is the line that you draw in general?
I'm extremely beyond the other line, ma'am. I'm not the purist, because once you shoot an image in RAW and you touch the exposure and move it out, you are not the purist. That's it, gone. There is a chances where you can overexpose. I mean, open up the shadow by decreasing the contrast. When you decrease the contrast, whatever the darkest picture is, it opens up your shadow. That can be done in the camera itself. I have an image of a tiger, which is actually a silhouette, where I extremely increase the contrast to give a dim light of a tiger. That was done in the image itself because I wanted to show people that I shoot images in RAW also. So, but for this post processing, I'm extremely the other side of the processing. Once I'm done starting doing it, I'm doing it. But you shouldn't remove the. You can remove the twigs in and out near the on the subject, but you should remove entirely the subject. You shouldn't remove the tiger's eyes, which is clear, and then paste the other eyes.
Yes.
You shouldn't touch the subject. You play with your background.
Yeah, I would like to answer your questions, Lakshmi.
Yes,
actually, see, wildlife photography. People are spending so much money on the wild reserve and are taking photograph. The main purpose, it was started like that only to document habitat and so as it is in a wildlife. Okay, we are doing lot of other post processing, keeping dark background, keeping dark and all. For if you want to that type of as an artist, digital artist type
Digital
of
artist.
it's not about you, Vignesh. I'm talking general. For the young photographers, I'm telling, if you are going to take photo and background ko black karna hai, dark karna hai, white karna hai, then why you are spending so much money on wildlife trip and all? Okay, that you can do it in zoo photography, take zoo photography, do your all the digital artists, you can save money. But if you want purest wildlife photographer, if you are going all the way for birds and all, so as a habitat art also. So you have to draw where your line. You want to be Instagram as a digital artist famous, or you want to be a wildlife photographer? Because for me, wildlife photography, it's going to be documentation. Even if you are live or also for how many, after 50 years also, it's going to be as a document. It's going to be a record. Okay. Our tiger pictures will be there. I don't know whether tiger will be there after 50 years, but tiger pictures will be as a record. So we are the nature ambassadors. We have to show as it is. So you have to draw the line whether you want a wildlife nature photographer or you want a digital photo artist using wildlife. Okay, then you can decide. It's up to you guys to carry on, but don't mix it with. Don't tell that you are doing digital artist. I am doing it for conservation. I am doing it for
digital artist is entirely not for conservation.
all the things. Don't mention because I am getting mails that I want to do for wildlife photography. I want to do for animals. Then if I see the Instagram feed, the person photograph and all putting all the black so much post processing. That's why I want to address this issue. The mails I am getting, madam, you just check my Insta feed, they're sending, and I want to contribute wildlife photography, conservation and all. The big mails I am getting. Yeah. So for all the young hobby photographers, I would like to say, draw your line where you want to be. Okay.
Actually, as well as the same thing. If you're going for the magazines, they ask for your RAW. Even for the contest, they ask for your RAW. So there shouldn't be more change. If you're posting my art form and the normal picture, it's going to be a very huge difference.
It's a subjective, guys. It's your taste. Where you want to be. You want a digital artist, wildlife photographer? Nature, fine. Okay, it's a subjective. But don't come to me asking anything that I'm doing this and all. This is for no offense to anyone. Just my 2 cents for this topic. Yeah.
And one more small tip, I learned processing from ma'am only. So
I don't teach processing, heavy processing. I do subtle processing.
Ma'am was my guru first starting time. My processing actually improved from the starting of ma'am only.
Yeah.
So then I improvised my own idea so that I can
I
standard
just
from other.
post-process a subtle way only,
Minimal.
okay? The general common contrast and all, because I want to say as it is, my style of photography, because that's the way we want. We want more documentation, more people into come to this wildlife now, no? So anyway, it was very interesting session, Vignesh. Lakshmi, you can give vote
Yes,
of
ma'am.
thanks for the audience. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much for the patient hearing, and we've got a lot of questions as well. We will try to address these questions by responding. Thank you so much, Vignesh. It was a pleasure meeting you face to face, and yes, and answering all our questions and taking us through this creative ride for the last 1 hour. I couldn't move here and there. I was just hooked onto your pictures. Very nice. Looking forward for like what Ms. Banu has asked on the call. We would like to hear more feedback from you on the safety aspects and other things. We will plan to schedule something in the next
year.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Vignesh.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
Rajkumar. Rajkumar, Tamil பேசுமா Vignesh. கொஞ்சமா தமிழ்ல பேசுங்கன்னு சொல்லிருக்காங்க. Okay,
தமிழ்ல
guys.
பேசுங்க.
Officially, we finished our program. Okay.
தமிழ்ல பேசலாம்.
எல்லாருக்கும் மாலை வணக்கம். யாரும் தமிழ்நாட்டுல இருந்து ஜாயின் பண்ண தமிழ் பேசுற பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ்க்கு எல்லாமே மாலை வணக்கம். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் இன்னைக்கு எங்களோட இந்த ஈவினிங் ப்ரோக்ராம்ல நீங்க அனைவரும் கலந்துகிட்டு பங்கேற்றதுல. மேபி இனி வர்ற சாட்டர்டே சண்டேஸும் அடுத்த மாசம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கு. இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் ஸ்பீக்கர்ஸ் வந்து பேச போறாங்க. ப்ளீஸ் ஜாயின் அஸ். நீங்க ஜூம்ல வரலன்னா கூட யூடியூப்ல பார்க்கலாம், அதுக்கப்புறம் ரெக்கார்டிங்ல கூட பார்க்கலாம். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் விக்னேஷ், இன்னைக்கு வந்து உங்களோட பார்த்து கிரியேட்டிவ் போட்டோகிராஃப்ஸ் எல்லாம் பார்த்து ஷேர் பண்ணதுல. டெஃபினட்டா நம்மளோட ஆடியன்ஸ் இன்னைக்கு வந்தவங்க கொஞ்சமாவது உங்க அந்த டிப்ஸ் எடுத்துப்பாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அண்ட் தேங்க்யூ எவ்ரிவன் கைஸ்.
Thank you.
It was really interesting, informative session. Hope you learned something new through this session also, informative. That is the main motto for us to invite different genre of photographers to bring into wildlife conservation of India, so that we learn something from them, we inspire them, their work also. Each photographer is different, each photographer perspective is also different. And tomorrow also we are going to have diversity in India, through India. So different state we are going to have different diversity topography. Mr. Anandakrishna Narayan is going to share his photograph. The plus point is he never shared his photograph anywhere. So most of the photographs
very he sorry to interrupt, he has a beautiful collection of photographs, guys.
Yeah.
If you people are here tomorrow please try to attend his thing. I'm a big fan of his photograph, ma'am.
And he never shared anywhere his photograph.
He has lot of collection of birds. I'm really feeling excited to join his.
He has been last 4-5 years. He has been left and right. He covered almost all over the parks, national
800 to 900 birds, I guess, ma'am.
Yes, and different rare pictures also. And going to have lot of information, share with us lot of information. Do join us tomorrow session without missing. I'm sure you'll be enjoying tomorrow also. Thank you, Vignesh. It was lovely speaking.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All the best for your future projects. And whatever you're going to do, I know you are very creative in mind. Okay. And all the best to your future projects. Okay. Thank you. And you can log off now.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And Wildlife Conservation of India is bringing a lot of next month also. Every weekend we are having a different speaker. Do join us. Do visit our website to register also. And if any of your students are there, do check our student for nature felix workshops. Already 4 workshops are lined up. We are having great response. Thank you for responding all the registration. I hope we will bring more workshop in future also. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.